Steve Peloquin joins us from ESPN 1420. Steve, where and how do you watch the Saints game?
I watch it at home, pacing.
Pacing?
Yeah.
We were talking
which is one of the big reasons why I actually don't like to go to that game.
Yeah.
Because I like to pace. I just can't sit there and and just watch.
I love the analysis, and I feel when I'm at a game, I mean, you can't beat the energy, but I find myself confused about what's happening or hearing a call, because a lot of times some people are, you don't hear the ruling on the field sometimes because it is so loud, and you're just like, oh, all right.
If you like analysis, though, you should go to a game because you got plenty of analysis around you. Everybody's an analyst.
Okay, I want real analysis from someone like yourself, not Mama, who's been to every game for 40 years. I don't need that. All right, so huge game last night. The LA Rams are undefeated no more for this season. It was interesting to watch the arc of that head coach, of the Rams head coach, because he was very confident up until the first half, and then things evened out. Now, the Saints did blow a 21-point lead, and so let's just let that slide because you ended up winning. But that is probably something that will be talked about, even with the win. How did you let them come back? Yeah, well,
and the answer is the Rams are good. I mean, look, the Saints controlled the first half. It was their best half of football this year.
Yep.
And you knew the Rams were going to make a run. I mean, they're just too good. They were able to throw the ball against the Saints, especially in the middle of the field. The Saints didn't get a lot of pass rush against them, and even in the first half there, I mean, there were no Ram punts. I mean, the Saints did a good job, especially after that first turnover. Mark Ingram put the ball on the ground, and the Saints defense came up big after the fake field goal attempt by the Rams. Then the Rams missed a field goal, but the Saints didn't force the Rams to punt at all in the football game. So you knew the Rams were going to make a run, but the bottom line is that the Saints made one or two more plays that they have to, and as has been typically the case all year, it's been one or two plays that's been the difference in the game. If not, well, there's been a number of plays, but if not for that third down pass that Drew Brees hits Michael Thomas on the 70-yard touchdown pass, that's a third down play.
Yeah.
If that's incomplete or the Rams get to Brees, the Saints have to punt the football, and who knows what's going to happen. So, it was a matchup of two titans in the NFL. The Saints just came away with the victory.
I feel like more and more this season, while obviously turnovers end up being a big part of the story, didn't see that last night. It happened once. I think, right?
Alex Anzalone with a great interception.
Yeah, it happened once, but that hasn't been the big story. But then, my thing is all the quarterbacks that are running for the first down. Out of nowhere. I mean, they're totally open, and that's good. Now, it's good strategy.
Yeah.
You're obviously protecting your quarterback so much that he can run.
Yeah.
Which is huge. But there was one time that it happened with the Rams quarterback. I would have called it a first down, but he kind of reached out for it.
You talking about on the fake field goal?
Yes.
Yeah, that looked like a first down, but hey, again, it is.
It wasn't ours. I'm not going to be mad.
It is what it is. That was the holder on the fake field goal. And he reached out, and and when they challenged it, I'm like, this is going to be a first down. And it turns out that it wasn't. So that's what I talk about so often, too. Fans always see the calls that go against their team. Oh, that team was holding, and they probably were. Or, man, that was a bad call in the Saints, or a bad call against UL, or a bad call against LSU.
Yep.
And a lot of times it is. I'm not saying that they're wrong. It's just that they never go back and see a lot of the calls that their teams actually get. It tends to even out. Not all the time, but,
Well, I think, so moving on to LSU, you start to see targeting. Whenever that's something, I always thought that was a really kind of a stupid call because sometimes physics just make it so that it may not have been intentional, but that's what happens. And then I feel like I see it all the time. It's like when you buy a new car and you see everyone else has your car because it's top of mind. In the LSU Alabama game, which was shut out, I was there to watch it. It wasn't a fun football game to watch, but everyone still had fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fun environment. You kind of sit back and say, I don't know that there can be a defense that is really prepared to handle Alabama. I just don't think there is one.
Well, LSU did about as good a job as you could possibly do. Look, I said Alabama 31-14, just because nowadays in college football, it's an offensive game and you expect more points than that. So I expected LSU to put up a couple of touchdowns, but Alabama's defense was just too good, and LSU didn't do enough. But defensively speaking, LSU did about as good as you could do. I mean, Alabama came in averaging over 50 points per game. They were laying in on everybody. You can't expect LSU's defense to just shut down Alabama. They got Tua, Damian Williams. I mean, running back rush for over 100 yards. Receivers made plays. I mean, I thought LSU played exceptional defense, especially considering who they were playing, because Alabama's a juggernaut.
And what I tell you, they have the two magic pieces, and it is speed and really good precision.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't see them throwing to a part of the field where there's no one.
Yeah.
Some of the mistakes you see in NFL teams, you don't see with Alabama. So that must have been a fun trip home for them. Good for them.
Wasn't a fun trip home for you, though, huh?
You want to know how long? I didn't even tell Bernie this. You know how long it took me to get home?
How long?
4 hours and 15 minutes.
4 hours and 15 minutes.
It took me an hour and a half to get off campus. And then we got on the Basin Bridge, and there was not just a little bit of a fender bender. There was a wreck that required a helicopter to come about a half a mile ahead of me. It took all the rest of the four fools in my car were sleeping. I mean, it was the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It was 1 a.m. Luckily, with the time change, we ended up getting home at 2:14 in the morning.
Did you stay till the end?
Exhausted. I think there might have been maybe 2 or 3 drives left. But anyway, also on the road this weekend, the Cajuns. What happened? What's the takeaway?
Not a good first half for the Cajuns. They played much better in the second half. Winning 1 of 3. When you play Appalachian State, Arkansas State, and Troy, obviously you're disappointed with the last loss. But if you would ask Cajun fans at the beginning of the year, if you would have asked them a couple of weeks ago, would you take 1 win out of those 3 games? They probably said yes. They're 4-5 right now, but they're going to be favored in the next 2 games, 2 home games, Georgia State and South Alabama. If they win those 2 games, then they are bowl eligible, and then that would give them an opportunity to play for a winning record and maybe the Sun Belt Conference Western Division Championship against ULM at the end of the year. So it's a situation where you're disappointed with the loss, especially in the first half. But the Cajuns did play well the second half, and if they continue to play that way, they're going to win their next 2 football games. Of course, the thing is, you got to keep playing that way.
Stevie P, ESPN 1420. Thanks for coming by.
Been your pleasure.